My environmental journey started with me looking for ways to reduce my carbon footprint. So if you're in a position where you're trying to find ways to reduce your carbon footprint, then here are a few things I learned along the way. So tip number 1 is to drive less. If the place that you want to go is in a walkable distance, then consider walking instead of driving. Also, don't feel the need to rely on driving just if there's a bit of rain or if it's raining. Maybe consider using an umbrella or a coat and walking there instead. Not only will driving less mean that you can reduce your greenhouse gas emissions that are being emitted by your car, but it also means that it can be cheaper for you in the long run. It means that you won't have to spend money on things such as buying petrol for your car. This then brings me on to point 2, which is to fly less. If you're thinking of going on holiday or travelling otherwhere, maybe look into other options such as taking the train. This is going to help you reduce your carbon footprint a lot. Flying is responsible for about 13% of the total emissions, whereas taking the train is responsible for 0.5% of the transport industry's total greenhouse gas emissions. The third way to reduce your carbon footprint is to look at your spending habits and maybe challenge yourself when it comes to buying something new if it's something that you definitely need. And if it's something that you do need, maybe see if you can buy it second hand. This is especially true for things such as clothing or shoes. Something else that I do personally is to wait a few days or a few weeks to see if you still want it at the end of that time, and then you know that it's something that you definitely do want to buy instead of just an impulse buy. And on the topic of that, point number 4 is to donate your clothes or other items to charity shops instead of sending them straight to landfill. Just last year alone, charity shops saved 327,000 tonnes of clothes from being sent to landfills. So by donating your clothes to a charity shop, this means you get to save a lot of waste, unnecessary waste, ending up in landfill, where it can instead be reused by another person. The 5th way to reduce your carbon footprint would be to reduce your meat and dairy intake. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, cattle, both beef and dairy, are responsible for 65% of the livestock sector's greenhouse gas emissions. Additionally, they found that animal agriculture in general is responsible for 7.1 gigatons of carbon emissions per year, which works out to be around 14.5% of the total greenhouse gas emissions globally. So number 6 is to buy locally grown organic food where possible. Not only does this mean that the food doesn't have to travel as far to get to you, therefore has lower greenhouse gas emissions, but it also means that the food won't have any toxic chemicals such as pesticide used on them to help them grow. And finally, when you're out and about, remember to take a travel mug or a usable water bottle with you. Every year we produce and use 16 billion coffee cups. To make these coffee cups, 6.5 million trees are cut down and 4 billion gallons of water are used every year. This is enough energy to power 54,000 homes. 17 million barrels of oil are used every year just to produce our water bottles. And to top it all off, 80% of water bottles that are created end up in landfill and not correctly recycled. So by using a travel mug and a reusable water bottle, you're saving all this energy being used up unnecessarily. I hope you find these tips helpful. If there's anything that you do to reduce your carbon footprint, then let me know in the comments below. And if there's any other videos you'd like to see on this channel, then please comment that below as well. See you!